Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Gauntlet Hangouts. This is our playthrough of the Calydonian Boar, a small RPG that got published recently in Codex Blood 3. It is written by Ludovico Alves. I hope I pronounced your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. And it is all about the heroes that have been called to the King Oneus's court to hunt down the Calydonian Boar. And each of us are going to be playing as lots of different heroes and trying to take this boar down. And so we are going to get started by building our hunters. And so each one of us is going to make 3 or 4 hunters. It's up to you if you want to make 3, 4, however many you want. Each hunter should have a unique name and then a defining concept. This could be a nickname, this could be a skill, this could be a feat that they've accomplished. Some examples from the book are Dryas, Child of Ares, Ancaeus, Pig Killer, Iphicles, the unfortunate brother of Heracles, Hylias, thrice doomed, something along those lines. So it can be a relation, it can be something you did. And so we will go through and start filling those out. Why don't Jess, I don't know who's started already, but we can just kind of assign rows so we're not like trying to jump all over each other.
That was me. I started at the top.
So I'll just add a...
You can put Jen there if you want.
No, where's merge?
And if I'm giving my heroes to my hunters too many previous achievements, let me know. I can dial them down a little.
No, that's okay. They're all gonna die anyway, so I think it's interesting to show all these amazing and incredible feats that went before to kind of emphasize how dangerous this thing is. So it looks like we're all set. Do we want to give just a quick introduction to each one? Just say here they all are, so that people at home can kind of hear who we have to work with, because we're gonna immediately start just picking random ones to kind of fill out their characters. So why don't we just go down and you can introduce the ones that you created.
Okay, I've got Alara, who is just a name I found around it, but she is, I've decided, the thief of the golden apples of the sun, sneaky person. Actaeon, hunter of the golden hind, a mythical deer. Peleus, who defeated a monster and founded the great city of Corinth. And Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons.
I like Actaeon's chances, already a hunter, so that's...
I'm sure he'll be the first to die.
Yeah, right off the bat in the opening scene. Even before we
Don't
get
worry,
to that,
I got this.
that phase.
Yeah.
So I have Calliope, weaver of stories, Pallas, mother of warriors, Dismas, fisher of the barren sea, and Methodios, skywatcher.
I will give my best effort at the Greek, but I know, having read mythology as a kid, I mispronounce these all the time. So bear with me on that one. Aristophanes, far thrower. I'm picturing him as a javelin tosser of renown, competing in games. Lasthena, Titanborn. Not exactly sure what's going on with that, but I kind of like thumbing the nose at the gods because that works out well. Damaris Fleetfoot, kind of self-explanatory, and Amintor, Bane of Zeus, which I imagine is he did something very small, but it is grown in the retellings.
That is so much better. So I have Cadeus, who is a brother of Perseus, Lenara, wielder of the 7th spear, Edinus, who is Persephone's chosen, and Loredana, savior of Thebes. And so we are not again, we are not tied to our own creations. Anybody can play any hunter at any time. You just pick them and say, I'm going to play this person for this scene, and that's how it goes. And so the first things that we do is called Merrymaking and Hospitality. And so each player is going to take turns setting up a scene where we play as one hunter specifically. And you can ask for other people to join in the scene, or it can just be you by yourself. The scenes are the hunters traveling to Calydon, and the preparing for the hunt and enjoying the hospitality of King Aeneas. So any point before the start of the hunt is a valid time to hop into and kind of play out this scene. If the scene reveals friendships and rivalries between hunters, each one of those hunters marks a relationship. If we as a group believe that the hunter acted as befitting a hero, not necessarily being a good hero, but just a larger than life character who is befitting of myth, then they get one heroism. And so you can also, those rules follow through in every single scene. So at any point, if we think that we've revealed a new relationship, we mark the relationships. And if they acted larger than life, then they mark her heroism. Does somebody want to go first?
Is this just everyone does one, or how many do we end up doing?
It is not clear.
Okay. That's why I felt reading it as well. Does it just
it
that
says each player
turns?
takes turns. That could be one turn. That could be multiple turns. I honestly like not filling out everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And having some people get pulled into other scenes. So we have a couple of like mystery no-name characters that we can redshirt off right at the beginning if we need to. So maybe we'll go around twice and have everybody do two.
I have an idea. If it's, I don't know if it needs to be chronological, because I think mine might end up being later on than somebody's. Okay. I'm picturing that you have a bunch of these hyper skilled folks all coming together, and only one of them is going to get the glory. So there's all kinds of posturing ahead of time. And I think some kind of feat of strength probably ends up getting organized. And a few of them stand up. Let's see, who seems strong? I'll grab one of mine to start off with. Oh, you know what? I'll go with Aristophanes, far thrower. He's going to have what he would want everyone to do, a javelin contest. So I think probably it started as something else, and he's trying to talk his way into that.
Yeah, who else would show up to this?
Lenara, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking either Lenara or Hippolyta would definitely be in for like feats of strength.
Hippolyta's in for that, yeah. I think Lenara's got that 7th spear, you know.
Yeah, if we want to have Lenara and Aristophanes have like a javelin contest, her with her magic spear and him with just sheer strength. I do like that scene.
Yeah.
All right.
So I imagine they also have not well watered wine being passed between them as the wagers go up, and Aristophanes takes a swig and hands it to Lenara and says, "I could split that tree in half from this distance with one throw."
And she takes the wineskin and just drains the whole thing, throws it on the ground.
I'm going to have some more of that. So you can drink, but can you throw?
Can I throw? That tree won't be there when I'm done.
Well, I'll let you have the first throw then. You knock that down, I'll get the one that's further on. Clear out the course for me.
And she hefts this spear that's this like solid metal spear. It's just big rod of iron. And she picks it up and just hurls it straight. She doesn't even like arc it or anything, and it just straight lines through the tree and leaves a 5-inch hole in the center of the tree. It doesn't quite knock the whole tree down, but just impales straight through the tree.
Aristophanes laughs nervously, but tries to make it into mirthful laughter. Still standing then, isn't it? I would expect with a spear like that, a God-given spear, if I don't miss my mark. She could do better than that, but you won't necessarily always have a spear like that. In fact, you don't right now. But I could, with just this simple, sharpened stick, knock down the rest of that tree. And he kind of looks around, hoping that people will yell that he can't, so he can boast a little bit more and trying to get a feel of the crowd.
I think someone in the crowd is like, so do it.
And yeah, he's a mythic hero, right? So like, I think, and also Lenara did the hard work, and like, there's just a tiny little bit of maybe bark holding it together on each end, and so he rears back and does have to use every trick. Like, it's clear he is throwing from the heels, unlike Lenara that just had this effortless motion. And he's able to get it so that like it topples. I mean, that maybe if you're being hyperbolic, you'd say that the tree fell over. Like, it's not standing per se.
I like the idea of like it splits from where the hole was, and the two little bits on either side break, and it just kind of falls in half. And so it's going to be, well, I did the hard work. Well, no, it wouldn't have split if I hadn't put the hole there first.
I like that. They're like, we'll discuss this over another skin of wine.
Yes, another. And I love the idea of the two of them just being rivals with each other.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great rivalry.
Yeah, that's good.
So I don't know about you guys, but I think that was definitely very heroic of both of them. Just like overkill and larger than life. So they each get 1 heroism. Do we want to just go around in a circle in the same order that we talked about earlier? So that would be me, and then Jen, and then Chris.
Sure.
Okay. Who do I want to see? I want to see Peleus, I think is the pronunciation of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Cadeus, both like showing up on the road at the same time and like walking together towards the city, because I think both of them would like Cadeus probably knows of Peleus because that you're a legendary person, and Cadeus is this like, yeah, my brother is famous.
It's got to be rough being Perseus's brother.
Yeah, and I want to see that interaction of this like super famous, incredible hero like talking with the like quote unquote second rate hero or second string. Does somebody want to?
So they're walking on the road. Well, I can do Peleus.
Sure.
And he's got like, the skin of this griffin just wrapped around his shoulders. A griffin that he killed so that he could found Corinth. And he's walking along, and this guy comes up, I guess. Who's I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, so I'm imagining him as he's rather short, although he's well built. He's rather handsome, but he's got this kind of like stocky, solid frame. And he's very well dressed, like he's like kind of done up and like trying, like looks like he's trying to be impressive.
Okay.
And he's got this big I think he's got like a big sword strapped to his back that's way too big like to be useful. It's big and it's impressive.
All right. Well, maybe he sort of shoulders Peleus out of the way a little bit, you know.
Yeah, it's just like walks by with his head held up, trying to look taller than he is. He's definitely like a foot shorter than Peleus.
And Peleus is like, I think the road is wide enough for both of us. You don't have to shove me.
I'm sorry.
And
he like looks Peleus up and down. I was like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I did not realize that Peleus was coming to the hunt. Are you sure this is?
You're on your way to Calydon also.
I am. I have a mind to slay this boar and take a trophy home.
Well, it's good to aim high. I imagine you must do that a lot. Peleus is kind of a, you know, kind of a snob. He's like, you know, he doesn't need to wear the griffin like skin, you know. It's a little unwieldy, but he wants everyone to know that he's Peleus. So that's quite a sword you have there.
Yes, it was forged specifically for me, to my exact dimensions and requirements. With it, I can cleave a tree clean in twain with a single strike.
Forgive me, but I think I have doubts that you could actually wield that effectively. It looks too big.
Well, we will see how deftly I can handle this come the hunt, Peleus.
All right.
And he like turns and starts like stomping off.
Okay. All right.
Like, screw this guy.
Okay. No heroism, but I think definitely a rivalry there.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely a rivalry, or just like a. I don't even know if Peleus is like, what's this guy's deal?
Yeah, not really a rival, but sort of like what's the word? Sort of demeaning Cadeus. You know, sort of looking down his nose at him.
Yeah. So Cadeus just wants to best him and like has this goal set.
Okay.
All right.
So it's me next, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I think I'd be interested in Calliope telling some like stories about someone more heroic in the group of hunters. I don't know who's the best fit for that.
Well, if Methodios watches the sky, then he must know the constellations and the stories behind them.
True. Yeah.
And let's see, who would make? I mean, we don't have to do twos, right? We could also throw in a couple.
Yeah, we could throw
listeners.
3-4 people.
Maybe grab someone I didn't make. Is it Calliope? Am I saying that one right?
Yeah.
The Weaver of Stories.
Well, Jen was mentioning her
Calliope
already.
was like the main person that Jen picked.
So let's go to third.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. maybe like, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but Odinus, Persephone's chosen.
Yeah.
Like, if they already have a connection to the gods.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. I wonder what it even means to be Persephone's chosen. She's the queen of Hades.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Might be a bit of a mixed blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So Calliope is probably gathered by some sort of rudimentary fire, and is sort of eyeing the rest of the crowd, looking for someone particularly impressive. And I think they'd probably wave over Methodios, because they know that Methodios is a Star Watcher.
So are you imagining this at like a feast or a gathering?
I guess I was
Campfire on
thinking
the
it was in
road?
preparation for the hunt, sort of like if all of the hunters are gathered together, maybe.
I like that.
So they motion Methodios over, and Methodios goes over and sits with them. Are they all preparing their weapons or eating, or a mix?
Probably some of both, but Calliope is doing neither. He's just sort of watching, I think.
Okay. Methodios is probably finishing, something in a bowl, sort of eating little bits of leaves or something.
Methodios, have you seen anything in the sky? Any indication of the hunt to come?
Well, the stars don't always reveal their secrets, but I see Aries rising red, and that means blood for somebody. I don't know if it's going to be our blood or the boars.
Let us hope the boars.
Yes. And I'm looking also, I didn't bring a weapon, so I'm looking in the sky for a star to pick as my weapon. With Zeus's help, I might be able to reach up and pick it out of the sky.
Oh, I gotta switch who I'm gonna play if you say Zeus. A
You gotta
mentor.
what?
I gotta switch to a mentor Bane of Zeus if you're talking about Zeus.
Oh,
So there's
yeah,
a rude
right.
chuckle when you say with Zeus's help I can pick out my weapon. Zeus.
What? Zeus. Yes.
If you want to hear how
Lord of
useless
the
Zeus
sky.
is, she could tell you a story or two about that.
I sort of chuckle and I say, oh, well, we all know there's a lot of stories about Zeus, and most of them end the same way. I wouldn't say any of them end with him being particularly helpful.
Fair. But he does have that thunderbolt, and if I could just borrow a little of that, I think I would be well prepared to go up against this boar. So next time it storms, remember what you said about Zeus.
I do every time, friend. And he's chowing down on a bowl of something while he say this, like his mouth is half full the whole time.
Why do they call you Bane of Zeus?
Well, I could tell you that story. Or Calliope could tell you that story.
I think even if you told me that story, I would want Calliope to tell me her version, because I would have my doubts about your story.
Yes, I'm not sure it paints either of you in the most flattering light.
But him worse. Pointing with his spoon.
Perhaps in your eyes, Mentor. I would say that you have proven to be a thorn in Zeus's side, if only because you insist on telling everyone how useless he is.
Yes, thank you.
A little bit of heresy goes a long way with the gods.
Zeus is a great lover, although that doesn't end well for him most of the time.
Think about how you could end up if you're asking Zeus for help with this boar. Huh.
Did he scorn you? Were you flirting with him and he was like, no, no thanks? Is this what happened?
I think it's more that he scorned a mentor by flirting with the mentor's wife.
Oh, well, yeah. That's got to be a hard one to carry around, a mentor.
Zeus, and he spits on the floor and walks off with his ball, out muttering to himself, "Curse the name of the."
You turned into a giant duck and carried off your wife.
I was thinking it had to be something ridiculous, like Zeus never has a straightforward pickup plan.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you'd think he'd have a lot of game, but always he has to look like somebody else. A bull, a swan, a cloud. A shower of gold for Perseus's mother, which makes me wonder, Cadeus, were you also fathered by a shower of gold, or were you just fathered by her regular husband?
No, I'm the normal kid.
Well, I'm sure you will.
I knew you weren't Zeus born. You don't have the stink of corruption about you.
Oh, well, they're friends already then. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably would be friends.
It's not easy to find someone that isn't Zeus born nowadays.
Yeah, the odds are against you.
It's a real distinction. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Let's see.
So do we want to... I do honestly think that the telling of over the top stories and boasting fits the heroism. Kind of fits like the Greek hero trope. So I would give heroism for that.
Oh, okay. Who gets that? Let's see.
Yeah, trying to unravel all of that. A lot happened in that one.
Yeah, I would give. I think that Calliope and Methodios both get heroism for being the lore keepers and the.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
And then, do the two of them bond over this at all? Like this shared razzing of Amintor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
Sure. And reflecting on the checkered past of Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
I think friend is an apt term there then.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
And
It's just starting to
then-
take shape.
Yeah, and then Chris, why don't you pick someone to start off
Let's
with?
see. I think Pallas, Mother of Warriors, and Hippolyta might have some things in common. Some war stories, mainly perhaps about battling armies of men. Maybe they're like sort of sharpening swords. I like this fire where people are preparing for the hunt. Hippolyta is definitely a tall, brawny woman with braids falling down the back of her head and a helmet perched on top, and she's got scars. What does Pallas look like?
I'd say she's also probably strong but not scarred as if like she hasn't been on the front lines as much. It's more that she's like in a protector role. So she's seen a lot, but her body doesn't like show it probably.
Yeah. Well, then Hippolyta comes and sits down next to her and sort of maybe feeling that protectiveness. And so you've probably seen a lot of your children go off to war.
Yes, and I've seen just as many die.
I've been in a lot of wars, and I've had daughters who have died. But it's still the place to win fame and honor. I'm addicted to it, I have to say. What brings you here? Yeah, so are all your children?
Yes.
What? Yeah.
I follow them on their path to glory, and I often watch them try to find fame themselves. Some succeed, but there is a cost.
After seeing so much cost, what brings you here to hunt the boar?
Well, I suppose there's a part of me that feels as if I've cursed this world a little bit. To be the mother to so many warriors is to bring a lot of hatred into it. Killing the boar is maybe my way of ending that cycle.
Well, having raised so many warriors, I'm sure you have good advice for all of us. And I'm going to stick close to you. Every time I go off to war, I know I'm holding my life in my hands.
I will watch over you. The advice that I give you is only to stay true to yourself and be careful. You say that these hunts give you a rush, but I think they are more dangerous to your soul than you believe.
Well, you see right through me. I think I chose well to sit by your side. So that's, yeah.
Friendship, yeah.
I would say
That was a great
yeah,
scene.
but it's sort of a nurturing
Like,
thing too.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's more complicated, but I
Guardian?
think mechanically we can call it friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're almost see this like adopted mother-daughter situation going on.
Yeah. I think Hippolyta's still, in some ways, still that girl that went off to fight the first time.
They have each other's backs.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. It is. I'm trying to think. Do we want to go around one more time and then take a break, or do we want to take a quick break here because we're getting close to the top of the hour?
I think we defined a lot of them.
Yeah, we've got 9 of them, right?
Yeah.
Let's go through a few more of these scenes.
Okay.
As many as we're comfortable with. If whenever we want to stop, we can stop with these, and then we'll take our first kind of bio break when we get a little closer to the top of the hour. So, Keith, I think it's your turn.
Let's see. Part of me wants to see Cadeus again, but he's gotten in there twice, so we'll leave him out. I'm thinking Alara, who is known as the Thief of the Golden Apples of the Sun, and Damaris, who is fleet of foot, might be preparing for this thing in a slightly different way than everyone else. But I don't know if I want to be just around. Oh yeah, no, that's fun. I think they are giving each other challenges in King Oneus's palace. Just like, I bet you can't sneak the hat off that guard's head without him noticing, and kind of going back and forth with that.
Nice.
So I will grab Damaris. Someone else would like to be Alara.
Can I jump in and say the scene is they play a prank on one of the other hunters and get caught?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Nice. Yeah.
So they've been doing this, and the stakes have been escalating.
Yeah.
All right, so we need an Alara and an unwitting Mark.
Let's see. Maybe.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Go on. No, I didn't know.
My only suggestion was someone that we've already talked about. So if you have someone else, go for it.
No, I think it's fine to keep bringing, like, kind of have recurring characters. So
I think I could picture them poking fun at a mentor.
A mentor, the butt of every joke.
Oh no, poor guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I can pull a mentor if.
Okay. I can
Keith
do
wanted
Alara.
to do Damaris.
And Chris, you'll be Alara.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And Jen, if you see a chance to jump in, please feel free.
Sure.
So what is this prank?
So Alara, all we need to do is to lure him into the audience chamber of King Oneus. He has this ingeniously designed speaking horn to magnify his voice incredibly. It'll boom down. If you drop your voice to the lowest register you have, he will swear it's Zeus talking to him. It will be hilarious. He will fall to the floor weeping for forgiveness at the merest thought being convinced.
So I'll wait in the audience chamber with the speaking device. If you can lure him in.
If I can lure him in, of course.
All right. Well, I'll be anxious to see how you do it.
As will I.
Let's see, so a mentor, I feel like this would be just after like a feast or a meal. So a mentor is like one of the last people up. He's still finishing this like big like turkey leg or like chicken leg or something that he's got.
I feel like he tucks into the free food. Like, yeah.
And people are like reclining on couches, on pillows and drinking, from these Krater bowls of wine, and the food is just going around. People are carrying around these big platters.
And Damaris is observant and saw that a mentor and Cadeus were kind of striking up a friendship. She goes up to him and a mentor. Cadeus was asking for some help to get another barrel of wine up from the cellar. I can show you where he is if you're able to assist him.
Why are you not able to assist him?
He asked for you specifically.
Oh, he did? I suppose that.
He said he needed the strength of someone that could spit in the eye of Zeus, I think was his direct quote.
He slams the chicken leg on the table, gets up.
That's just waste.
Lead me to him.
Yes, I believe it's just down this way, through that door, and you'll see the stairs to the wine cellar.
All right, and then so a mentor like stomps down the hall with chest puffed out, and I'm assuming he pushes open the door into this big audience chamber, right?
Right, expecting the stairs going down, and there's no stairs.
Yeah, it's just this kind of big hall. There's a big dais at the end
with a throne on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what does Alara say?
So Alara is like hidden
Oh,
in this
sorry.
little.
First, the door,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
door
go ahead.
slammed shut behind him because
Good,
he got it
good.
rigged up on like a rope
Right.
that Damaris can. So now he's
Nice.
at least momentarily stuck.
And Alara is like in this little alcove behind the throne, and there's some sort of big stone hollow sphere with a hole in it for her to speak through, and she says, "A mentor, this is Zeus. A mentor." And, it's just sort of booming voice. Fall on your knees, I have come for you.
I think instead of like supplicating or anything, he just goes like red in the face and starts swearing up a tirade.
Damaris is on the outside yelling, "A mentor, are you okay? Oh, the doors! They're electrified. I can't open them."
It's just like
Where's
F
your
you,
wife,
F your
Mentor?
mother.
Where is your wife? I was looking for her. Please don't be selfish, a mentor.
Gosh, just
Just terrible.
driving the screws in, huh? Yeah, no, he is swearing like a sailor and just doing all this stuff. Did you plan an audience or anything for this? Like, are there other people watching?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Hidden in like another alcove on the other side of the throne is, Dismas, I think. Maybe
Yeah, there's just a
Hippolyta
bunch of people.
too.
There's
a bunch of people. Yeah. And I think eventually, like, they just can't contain themselves, and they just, sort of fall out of the alcove laughing.
I'll say Dismas has probably taken a mentor's turkey leg and started chowing down on it too.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, mentor's just like, F you, F all of you, screw this, I'm out of here. He just walks back to the feast and slams the door behind him. Everybody's burst out laughing. I'm going to give a mentor the relationship pissed off at everyone.
I think he should get a heroism too. Like, his reaction to being confronted with a god was
True.
on the offensive. Like,
he was definitely ready to throw down.
Like, if
not
he's willing to
cowed.
fight Zeus, this boar
Right.
is not a problem.
And I think he goes back there, and like maybe Cadeus is the only person left at the feast hall. He's like, "Where'd you go? What happened?" Like the one person he's not pissed off at.
Yeah. I think Alara gets a heroism for this prank, definitely.
And Damaris was her idea.
And they should be partners in crime, perhaps.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
Okay. So, who do we have that we haven't looked at? Edinus, Loredina, Lasthena.
I am curious about Edinus. I think he's somebody who is sort of one foot in the grave in a way, like half touched by death.
Ooh, I like that.
Like in a way, he's not afraid of death because in a way he feels like he's already dead. He's probably been to Hades. He's probably whisked away there by the black chariot and dined with Persephone.
I like the idea of like made a deal with Persephone to come back in exchange for service or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
At a time when death would normally claim him, she might intervene.
Yeah. Okay. And so, who would approach him?
Maybe Dismas, Fisher of the Barren Sea. They've both got sort of the 1,000-yard stare, I think.
Yeah.
Dismas went out someplace far away from everybody where there's not even any fish, and he found a fish, and it's like some creepy ass fish that is like, you know, the fish beyond all fish, and he spent a lot of time by himself in a boat. So I think they sort of, you know, they both got the 1,000-yard stare, and they sort of lock eyes across the hall. I think they're both a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
How
So yeah, I
conversation like
think
that goes.
what scene do we want? I want this to be so awkward. Just like and I love the idea of just like the two of them at like just like randomly meet at the well or something. They both happen to be in the same place at the same time.
Okay.
And I don't think that this is even like a speaking scene.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think
So I
they
think
don't talk a lot.
no. I think the two
They
of them
need a third person. I think they need somebody to be.
No, I love the scene of just the two of them at this well, and they look at each other and they nod, and there's so much understanding in that gesture, and they just like there's this connection that doesn't need to be said. And Dismas reaches out a hand, and Edinus just clasps like the hand on forearm clasp.
Mm-hmm.
And without saying anything, the two of them let go and have just completely understood each other.
That's great. Yeah. If this was Seven Samurai, I feel like they would both be the Iceman. The guy who doesn't say much, just goes and does something and comes back.
Yeah.
Or, you know, yeah. So yeah, they just, so, okay.
I think respect,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah. Respects, Agnes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot. Who else?
I think I'm next, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Did you say it was good to leave some not defined?
It's up to us. If we leave people not defined, they are de facto going to get killed right away.
Oh, okay.
So just so everybody's kind of on the same page, the next scene, each of us picks one hunter to die. And we basically go starting with the people that have the lowest combined heroism and number of relationships.
I see.
So if you like anybody, you should probably put them in more scenes to get them more heroism and more relationships, so they don't die right away.
I think Actaeon maybe would seek out Damaris, because if Actaeon's the hunter, they probably value someone fast.
Yeah.
I like the idea that both of them are like disciples of Artemis almost, because they've got the same like the fleet-footed, almost like deer-like animalistic kind of setup, and then the hunter.
Maybe Actaeon is preparing to like hunt food for the journey.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, maybe maybe to hunt he needs a runner. somebody who can keep up with him and with the deer. And invites Damaris to come on the hunt.
Yeah, so Damaris is probably hot off that prank and feeling pretty good about himself and agrees to follow Actaeon.
All right. We'll go hunt it. We'll go hunt the deer. We'll get some food for the journey. And Actaeon has these silver arrows that he got from. Maybe he's got like, one or two silver arrows that he got from Artemis. And the rest are just normal wooden arrows. And he's like, if you can run faster than the deer and bring the deer into my sights, then I'll give you one of these arrows.
I'm not so certain. How valuable are these? How fast are the arrows? Are they faster than me?
I would wager that this arrow is faster than you are.
Well, I'd wager it isn't.
All right. Let's find out. We'll get somebody to give the signal, and I'll shoot, and you'll run. And I'll shoot it at that tree way over there.
The one with the hole in it?
No, the one right past that one.
Okay.
And if you can catch the arrow before it gets there, you can keep it.
All right. I think Damaris is going to call over Alara again.
Uh-huh.
What do they have up their sleeves?
Yeah. I suspect foul play.
So Alara, I want you to go to that tree. You're ready to catch an arrow.
Of course,
Perfect.
sister, no problem.
All right. Sounds
All right,
like a plan then.
They get Peleus to be the one to give the signal and the one to judge.
Okay.
And he gives the signal, and Actaeon lets fly with the arrow. What does Damaris do?
I'm going to say Damaris does one of those things like the guy that gets in the car in the middle of a marathon and shows up at the end, and sort of like takes a sharp right into a part of the woods that you can't even like see very well. And then probably knows their way through the woods well enough to sort of like pop out in front of the arrow, and they have a handoff with Alara on the way.
Okay. All right.
So it isn't that they're like dressed as twins or anything. It's just you get it, delay, and hand it to me.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah, and I think Alara like isn't grabbing this thing from the air. She's like she's worked smart, not hard. She's got like a sandbag or something. And
Yeah.
just like in it, and then hides it and does the handoff in this real sly smile.
Okay, so what happens, because Actaeon lets fly with this arrow, and the tree is far away, but he can probably still see where the arrow goes.
I think probably if it's far enough away that Alara could catch it, and then on the way back do the handoff.
Because Alara is probably pretty fast too, just with the hands. I mean, she might be able to catch it out of the air, but she's already over there.
Or catch it in the sandbag, yeah.
Oh, I see. Throw up the bag. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So maybe she's like in the tree.
Or
It's
maybe
like,
it's an apple or something. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
something a little more poetic, but not like. I'm not picturing her as being supernatural in that way, but just kind of like clever.
Okay.
Yeah, and then hands it back off to Damaris and kind of fades into the woods as Damaris carries it back to Actaeon.
Yeah, and I imagine Damaris is gonna come waving the arrow and say, "I got it."
But you went off into you were in the woods.
I know a shortcut.
It's a detour. How can a detour be a shortcut? This was rigged. This is,
Did you not see someone that was either me or looked very much like me catching the arrow on the other end of that tree?
I did, but then you went back into the woods again on your way back. That why wouldn't you just go? How can this be a shortcut? I don't understand. So Actaeon is confused, but Peleus is like, you've got to give her the arrow. I mean, she won. I think Actaeon is having none of it. Like, okay, he gives up the arrow, but he's like, that's my arrow. So Actaeon is angry at Damaris.
And I would think Damaris
least.
should probably get another heroism.
Yeah.
For her bamboozling of Actaeon. I don't know if Alara does in that one or not. What do people think about that?
I think it's the kind of heroism you can't tell a story about, but I think it still counts.
Yeah, and I would give Actaeon a heroism too for playing his role. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we already have the partner in crime relationship. That's
Yeah,
just
I love that.
intensified.
Yeah.
All right. And then do we want to do one last scene with the two people that we haven't done anything with to just kind of give everybody a baseline?
Sure.
So that is Loredana, Savior of Thebes, and Lasthena, Titanborn. And I'm wondering how Loredana saved Thebes, and I'm thinking it has to be it has to be a monster hunt, right?
Yeah,
that's how
maybe
it goes.
killed a Titan. You know, Perseus killed Medusa, who was a Titan. So maybe Loredana killed some other monstrous Titan.
Oh, I like that scene of like Lasthena comes in. It's like, you killed my uncle. I've got my eye on you.
Right. And Loredana's like,
I'll kill you too.
Yeah, right. Your uncle was terrorizing Thebes, so there's a whole city that's grateful to me. If you start terrorizing a city, we'll talk. What was this uncle like?
Oh, he's I think that it's this like I'm going kind of like Argus, where it's like this creature with 1,000 eyes just all over its body, that maybe got pissed off by some like shepherds who were getting too close to where it lived, and so it just started terrorizing the countryside, trying to scare people off. And
or maybe held the city in terror because he could see everybody. It's just a totalitarian state.
Oh God, too real.
Picking people off. Oh yeah, sorry, too real. Right?
No, I do like the dramatic irony of like he was a peace-loving creature who was just trying to scare people away from his home, but ended up just bringing attention to himself and got himself killed for it.
Oh yeah, and Thebes just tells a nasty story about him.
Yeah, and so Loredana is this hero who tells the story about how awesome she was, and Lasthena is like, no, my uncle was a good person, good Titan.
Right. And Loredana is like slowly sharpening the sword, saying, only good Titan, dead Titan. This is not the Titan's world anymore.
I did like that.
Okay, so I think Loredna gets a heroism point just for the exploits.
Yeah. And I
Does
think
that count?
Yeah, and I think that I think the relationship here is that Loredna is
Wait.
I don't know if Loredna really gets a relationship. I think Lasthena has the like wants to kill Loredna and make it look like the boar did it type move.
Yeah, so plotting against Loredna.
Yeah.
Loredna might have disdain for Lasthena.
I like that. Okay.
And is Lasthena plotting against Loredna?
I do like plotting against. All right.
Okay.
So that's
All right.
that's everybody, and that was exactly 2 times around, which was great. So
Okay.
why don't we take a quick 5-minute break? Be back at like 22, 23 after. And we will pick up with the first blood and see how that goes. So I'll see you all in a little bit. All right, welcome back, everyone. So it is time for first blood. So the way this works is that the first scene shows how dangerous the Calydonian Boar is. In it, unprepared hunters are killed by the divine beast. Each player selects one hunter from among those with the least heroism or relationships. Each hunter narrates how they pursue the boar and how the awesome beast turns on them. They can be heroic and capable, but they will die before the scene ends. So each of us is going to essentially intern and pick from the folks who only have one of something. And they will die somehow. So does...
Sorry.
That's okay. I just looked up and saw this animal walking across the screen. It's cute. Does somebody have a hunter that they really don't like or want to get rid of? We can't get rid of a mentor because he's got actually a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's important
That's
to the story.
hilarious.
So, Peleus, can never say
Hippolyta?
Hippolyta, Palus, Dismas, Vicenta.
I could actually see Peleus with his griffin skin and sword striding off like he's going to make short work of this.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do that scene, Chris? So what is
sure.
Yeah. So him by himself against this boar, what does it look like?
I think people are still getting ready and he's impatient. It's the morning and he's like, he's already ready. He's been up for a while and he's like, this boar is nothing compared to the griffin I slew. If you're not ready, I'm just going to go off and do this myself. I think he says none of you is any better than Cadeus, and Cadeus is nothing. So I'm just going to go off and do this. And he strides off into the forest with his sword and his griffin skin that he's been told grants him invulnerability, and a circlet on his head, King of Corinth, and I think he goes into the woods and he hears from far off just crashing of trees, and the snorting of the beast, and he's still looking for a place to stand, and the crashing comes faster and faster, and it's coming on him much faster than he expected, and before he even is got his footing, this enormous boar with these huge tusks just comes crashing right through him and lifts him off his feet with a big snoot and tusks, and gores him, and he's just dead. And I think like he leaves the, you know, and it goes right through the griffin skin, and it's like, and the last thing he thinks is just this stupid amazement that it didn't grant him invulnerability after all. And I think what's left on the ground is the griffin skin and his little circlet of gold that was on his head, and other than that, and blood. And there's just no sign of him other than that. And you hear big crashing of trees, you know, like all these trees have fallen down, and just that. And maybe Cadeus comes through.
So I was gonna say, I hope Cadeus ends up fighting the griffin pelt at some point.
Yeah, I think he's like, I'll take that. Yeah.
As he comes through with the rest of the hunt, and with a mentor by his side.
Yeah, like he's not dumb. He's gonna come in with other people.
Yeah. No, that's great. I had an idea for a scene of Dismas and Edinus going out together. And I want to play off of this like companionship that they have. And I think that the two of them go out again. They're not talking to each other. They know where they're going. They head out. And maybe this is like during the hunt proper, where everybody's gone out and kind of left the camp, and the two of them are making their way into the woods, and they come across this like kind of copse of this ring of I want to say that it's like this ring of elm trees, that it has this big clearing in the middle, and the boar is like resting in the middle. Its tusks are already covered in blood from this kill on Peleus. And the two of them think that they've got it, and they're going to sneak up on it. And they're crouching, and they come forward, and this boar turns, and before either of them can even do anything, just impales Dismas, picks him up and just tosses him against a tree like he's a piece of paper. Edinus somehow manages to like poke at it and keep it away from him, but it just ignores him and charges off into the trees. And Edinus, we have to end the scene with Edinus like over his friend's body, trying to, and he's got this look of vengeance on his face.
And maybe so go ahead.
I was gonna say I have something for Edinus as well. Like maybe pick up from that. But were you gonna say something about him too, Chris?
I was. Yeah, go on. I want to hear what you want to say.
I'm thinking, like he has just gotten proof that he's not going to die. Like this steamroller of a boar just went right past him, and he is Persephone's chosen. And like this is his fate. This is his weird. It is written. It is woven by the three sisters, and he is now hunting this boar, following the track and the spoor, and he sights it off in the distance, and he eschews any kind of stealth or subtlety, and calls out to it, and minion of Artemis, stand now and meet your fate. And like he's just got this ridiculously small knife that is just dwarfed by the tusks of this thing, and he's goading it into a charge, and looking the whole way. Like if it was camera work, it would be like zooming in on where the heart is, and he knows, he's picturing the two ribs this knife's going to go between, how the boar will impale itself and its own motion will kill it on the knife. And as it comes up, the knife glances off of the rib, and it's not even the tusks, it's just the force of the boar knocks him back to the ground. And as he's lolling back, he says, "Persephone, why? You swore to me." And you just see, like, up on Mount Olympus, Artemis shaking her head at Persephone, who just has this look like, I can't do anything. That isn't my domain.
Yeah, that's great. I'm imagining Persephone like, I saved you once.
Oh yeah, like that
Yeah.
was the one.
Like
You
that was
used
it. Yeah, right.
I like that a lot.
And then
Like,
you just did the
stupid
same.
mortals.
Like, his shade goes down to the underworld to join the shades of Hades, and he comes up to Persephone like, what was that? And she's like, didn't you see how I saved you? That was
I
it.
made it run away.
Yeah.
You idiot. That's fantastic.
Okay, Edna, sit down.
Oh, I'm the host
We
now.
lost our
Okay,
MC.
hold on. Oh, okay. We're getting Sam back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Were you frozen
then-
out? Did you catch up on what was happening, or?
No, I was only gone for a couple of seconds.
Okay.
So
And so Jen still needs to pick a hunter to perish in this?
Okay. I think maybe as much as I like her Hippolyta, might sort of be maybe she forgot Pallas's advice and sort of rushes in headlong, too confident maybe. And she hears the sort of yelling in the woods of people being felled by this boar and charges in, probably just yelling, trying to like intimidate this massive creature with her own strength. And she tries to charge at it with, let's say she's got a spear. But the second she gets close, it just sort of like bows its head and rams into her, and pins her against a tree, maybe.
Oof. That's good. She got caught up in the rush of the feeling of battle.
Yeah.
I think Pallas watches her go away too, and just sort of like, shakes her head.
I keep hitting the stop video button instead of unmuting. Sorry. So, all right, that is the first blood. And now we get into the hunt proper. Do you guys all have access to the playingcards.io screen?
Let me bring him up.
Yep. So the way this works is that we each break down the hunt into a series of scenes where small groups of hunters encounter the boar as it rampages through the countryside. So each turn, a player will decide which trophy they are seeking to claim. Every player but one picks a hunter, and they will be playing as that hunter for the scene. They get a number of dice equal to the sum of their heroism and their relationships plus 1. And then you roll all your dice and set them in clear view of everybody. And then the last player acts as the boar. They shuffle the deck, draw a card, and set up the initial scene of what's going on. Depending on what card you drew, sets up the kind of how the scene plays out. If it's a club, it's a chase scene. If it's heart, it's a community scene. If it's spades, it's a cruelty scene. And if it's diamonds, it's a cunning scene.
Interesting.
And so based on the trophy that you're looking for and the card you drew, you set up the scene. After the setup, players will then manipulate their dice. They can do one of these things per scene. They can burn a relation to exchange dice with another player, burn heroism to re-roll one dice, or tempt fate and embrace their hubris to re-roll all of their dice. But if they get a pair, if any two of their dice are the same, they die. Each player then picks one of their dice to assign to the hunt. Once everybody has done so, the board reveals what card they got. And basically comparing the number on the card to the total sum of all the dice resolves the scene. And we'll get to that. I'll go through all that when we get there. So, does somebody want to pick a trophy to go first? So basically one of the 4 aces. And they are in order. The ace of spades is the tusks capable of the cruel tusks capable of tearing divine flesh. The clubs is the invulnerable pelt that bends any arrow or spear. Hearts is the ferocious heart that needs no rest or sleep. And diamonds is the lady of the bow, arbiter of who hunts and who is prey.
Well, we've certainly seen how dangerous the tusks are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that might as well be our first trophy.
Okay.
Or
Do we pick one person to be the boar, and then the others?
I was going to be
trophy?
the boar. I was going to be the boar first, just to kind of set the scene and get everything rolling. And Keith picked the ace of spades. So I'll bring the ace of spades down. And so I grab a card off the top of the deck and put it in my hand. And then I will set up a scene based on those two. I'm trying to think of what order this happens. Okay. So this is a community scene. And so I think the focus of this scene is less on the boar itself and more on like the working together and the teamwork that's happening between the different hunters. And so what hunters do you guys think would be the most appropriate to kind of resolve that?
We've definitely had pairs that show each other working in concert, but I don't know. Do we have a trio like that? Alara and Damaris were working together. Cadeus and a mentor were working together. Nobody would want to work with them, though, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, Lasthena might want to go with a mentor since they both, being Titan-born, probably hate the gods.
Oh, that could work, yeah.
And then maybe if you need a third person, Lasthena is plotting against Loredana, so they could have sort of like gotten Loredana along to get them in trouble.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that goes against the spirit of community, but
It doesn't have to be good community.
okay.
Okay.
I would love to play a mentor again.
Sure. I could play Loredna.
I'll play less than a.
Okay. And so each of you takes dice equal to the you can grab these spinners and just kind of move them wherever you want. So pick a spot and just kind of drag your dice over. And then it is the number of bonds and heroism +1.
Oh, +1.
Yep.
Does the number in the middle of the spinner mean anything?
The number in the middle of the spinner is the result. Some of them have already been spun once.
Oh, okay.
I see.
So then we spin each one?
Yep.
Does it mean anything if you get a pair to begin with?
I don't think so. So to remind you guys, each of you can once per scene burn a relation to exchange a dice with another person, burn a heroism to re-roll a single dice, or tempt fate and embrace hubris and re-roll all your dice. And if you get a pair, then you die.
So what results are we trying to get on the dice?
You want your dice to be higher than whatever card that I have.
Oh.
The combined total of all your dice needs to be higher than...
Oh, the combined total. Okay.
Yes.
So we just want high numbers.
Is there a reason that we would not want to give our highest die to the hunt? Like any kind of...
The only reasoning would be that if I have a face card, then to beat a face card, the hunter's dice must include a pair.
Oh.
If
Okay.
if you do not include a pair, then the boar escapes unscathed and one person dies.
Well, we have enough for a pair of 6s, so.
Yeah, I could. So let's see.
I mean, each of you could put in a 6 at this point.
Yeah.
We'd be looking pretty good on that. So
Yeah.
Just the three of us together. We need
Each one of you puts in 1 dice. Yes.
Okay. So would I put in a pair? Put in a 6 also? Does that help us?
yeah, give us an 18. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't
That's
think that
certainly
there's
good.
any
But
way
there's no
you can't win at this point.
additional. Okay.
Yeah, so I had the 10 of hearts, so you guys have definitely
Okay.
claimed this trophy. What does that look like? So kind of setting the stage, what did you guys do that kind of works together?
So it's supposed to be a setup for Loredna that clearly did not work.
It's supposed to make Loredna fall on her face.
And she has slain titans before. I don't know. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what that setup would look like. That a mentor and Lestano were like trying to do that didn't work.
I can see maybe Lestana trying to like position Loredna in a spot where she thought the boar was going to go with the tusks, but maybe, well, I don't know how Loredna would respond to that, but if Lestana was directing her, sort of.
And we're not taking the tusk from the boar now, right? Because we have to kill the boar.
You have claimed the trophy.
Okay. All right. The boar is minus some tusks. Yeah, I think maybe I don't know. Did you two shove Loredna into the path of the boar?
Maybe it was because Lestana is like, you killed a helpless old man, essentially. Sure, he had a lot of eyes, but like, what can you do against a real terror like this? Prove yourself.
Goads Lorena into this. Yeah.
Maybe something like that. And
She
a
just-
mentor would totally be into that since he has been humiliated. He would love to see someone else humiliated.
And Lorena is like, fine, stand back, little man. And takes out their sword and is prepared for this, trying to prepare for this boar who's coming very quickly. And I guess Lasthena is trying to make Lorena overconfident.
Yeah, probably.
And I think that like a mentor and Lasthena are like, so while the boar is goring her to death, you saw off the right tusk and I'll saw off the left tusk, and then we'll have them.
I don't think Lorena takes this single-handedly. I think it's still all three of us. But
Yeah.
I think Lorena, vaults up and comes down with their feet hard, right between the boar's eyes. And I think this maybe stuns the boar just enough that a mentor and Lasthena can actually do what they were planning on. But Lorena doesn't die.
Haha! Excellent, excellent. Just as we had planned.
Yes. I think Lasthena's probably a little stunned. Didn't expect that to happen, but is holding a tusk in one hand and just sort of has no choice but to congratulate Lorena for stunning the boar.
That's right.
A real black eye for Artemis, cursed kin of Zeus.
I think Lorena definitely gets a heroism for that.
Cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we could keep getting stuff.
Yeah, you keep getting heroism in relationships as you spend them and earn them.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So the dice don't continue over across.
Nope, we get all new dice next time.
Okay.
Well, that went swimmingly.
That went very well.
So am I the boar next? Are we going in that order still?
It's up to us. The only rule is that each one of us we take turns picking trophies. And from anybody could be the boar in any scene. So ostensibly it's my turn to pick a trophy.
Got it.
You pick the first one. And so I would like to see, I think in order of kind of realism here, I think piercing the hide is probably the next kind of important thing to happen. So I'm gonna grab that one, pull that down.
If the hide is being pierced, I think Lenara should be there with her spear.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Totally. The last one was about community, right?
Yeah.
How did we determine that?
So whoever's playing as the boar will grab a card and bring it down into their hand, which is the white bar at the bottom.
Okay.
And depending on what suit it is, if it is clubs, it is a chase. If it is hearts, it is community. If it is spades, it is cruelty. And if it is diamonds, it is cunning.
Okay, who's the boar? Should I be the boar? Jen, you were
Sure.
talking about being the boar.
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay. Clubs is a chase, right?
Hmm?
It's a chase.
If it's a chase, we'll probably want or fleet-footed along for the ride.
Oh yeah, I like that scene. with the Lenara and Damaris. Do we want to bring Alara on just as the like because that duo is
Yeah.
kind of iconic
Good
at this point?
dynamic.
Yeah, I don't think we can separate them.
No.
All right, who is playing whom?
I can play Lenara just because of those three. That's the one that I've played once already.
Okay.
And I've played Damaris once, and you've played Alara once, right, Keith?
I think I played Damaris as well, but
Oh, okay.
I think I played Alara, but I'm the board
Yeah.
now, so
I can be Alara.
snort.
All right. So, as the boar, what is it? You set the scene for this,
Oh, okay.
which I did not do very well last time. So I apologize for that.
I think I think the boar is up on the ridge above the tree line and silhouetted against the sun and breathes huge gouts of steam out of his nostrils and starts running along the ridgeline down the mountain. And is headed down into a valley, and the three of you spy him.
I love the scene of like the three of us are in the valley below this ridgeline, and we look up and we see this boar, and the two of you like take off running to try and catch it, and I take off up the side of this valley to try and get above it so I can hit it with my spear.
Yeah.
And so we're
Alara and Damaris are like, I'll get there first. I know a shortcut for real this time.
We're probably trading words a little bit, egging each other on.
yeah.
I imagine Damaris isn't taking this as seriously as they should. Like, at this point, the boar is missing its tusks, and the people that have fallen are not people that Damaris was spending a lot of time with. So it probably hasn't hit them entirely how much danger they're in.
Are we sure that's even the right animal? It looks like a common pig.
Whoa.
Come, we'll have a fine roast for lunch. This will be over before mid-morning. We'll get some dice.
With a great snort, the boar takes off along the ridge.
So I think both of you get 4 dice.
Yeah. Picking some people with excellent dice, although we'll see what happens as we spin. Ooh.
Okay.
I've got another 6 I can bring in.
I'm content with my 5, I think.
Why don't I burn? I think I'm gonna burn the one relationship I have and trade my 1 with your 6. That way we have 2 6s.
That's a good idea in case it is a face card.
Oh, I didn't mean to spin that again, but it was a 5.
That was a 5. All right. So why don't you reveal what card you had?
Let's see, how do I do this? Or I just tell you?
You can you put it in. You can put it in the center, and then if you click on it, it flips over.
Oh, okay, great. It's a 7. So
it is a 7 of clubs.
Yes. So if it is the trumps, if it is the same suit as the trophy, kill the hunter with the lowest dice.
Ooh. Well, I guess that's you.
Yeah.
Who are you playing? Damaris?
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that look like?
Well, actually now I have 2 1s and a 3.
No, it is the lowest dice in the pool.
Oh, in the pool. Okay.
Oh, the lowest number.
Mhm.
So I would say Damaris, again, not taking this seriously,
Yeah.
not only catches up to the boar, but decides to sort of like try and outrun it. And tries to like weave in front and sort of sidestep, but trips and gets trampled by the boar.
Oof.
I mean, we set it up perfectly. Like
Yeah.
that's classic Greek hubris right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, your card goes away, your dice goes away, and then
But you did beat the number. So
no. So if it's a trump card, you draw a new card and go again.
Okay.
But with just those two hunters now?
Yeah, so same dice, same scene, we just get another card on top of that.
Okay.
So you just straight up start reveal the card now.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Yeah.
So not
Okay.
the Trump suit.
Not a trump
And
suit, and it's a
and
number.
You beat it.
So we do
You
beat
have a
it.
pair, so you beat it. So what happens? How do you guys do that?
I feel like we put was it Lanara in there because of the hide?
Yeah. So I want to see how Alara like kind of gets the boar in position, because like I'm standing on top of this ridge line, like trying to aim, like it's moving around. I can't get a good shot at it. How do you like set that up?
So let's see. I'm assuming it just like what we narrated just happened with Damaris. So I think that hit that like is like a bowl of cold water being tossed in Alara's face, and she's just like, "Oh, it is now not time to mess around with this anymore." And instead of like this great capricious wit, it's now like thinking about the methodology she used when she was stealing the golden apples of the sun. It's like not I'm not sure how to describe it. Instead of like trying to put on tricks to amuse, it is now like illusions to confuse and confound, and she's darting in and out of the trees with purpose and spinning the boar around and flashing between the trunks of these what do we say was a stand of elm or something, and the boar is spinning around and starting to get dizzy and losing its feet a little bit and not moving as well as Lanara takes her aim.
Yeah, and I think Lanara, like I think the boar stumbles, and as it's trying to get back up to its feet, you hear this thunderclap, and you can't even see the spear go through, and all you see is this big red gash all along its right side as the spear just kind of clips through the side of this thing.
And I think Alara immediately is like, it's like she's teleporting from place to place. She's right there and sinks both her hands in it and grabs on as the boar stands up to run off, but its thick, stinking, hairy hide peels off in her hands as it runs away. And she just looks at it in disgust and drops it to the ground as she slowly walks back to where Damaris lies.
Yeah. Oof.
Hunting this boar is a nasty business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the boar has no skin.
Yeah, and that's terrifying.
It's way worse. It's way worse. Why do
So much worse now. Oh God.
What's the remaining trophies? There's
the diamonds is basically the favor of Artemis, or like the Lady of the Bow. And that can be anything that we want. It specifically says we left the trophies vague on purpose. Do they tear the ferocious heart from inside the boar? Do they censor the poetry of the cruel tusks, breaking their soul-tearing rhyme and forever ruining the song in Calydon? Do they plead for
Jeez.
Dionysus's intervention, messing with the Lady of the Bow, but drawing the attention of the other gods? Things like that.
Got it.
So
I think I'll pick the heart.
I
Sounds
love
good.
this image of like the boar, like we've ripped its heart out, but it's still alive and it won't die until Artemis says it's okay to die.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the Lady of the Bow being the last one. Oh God.
It's probably mad now, just enraged, in pain. Who's the boar now?
I guess I will bore, since Jen picked a trophy. That makes sense.
Okay.
So grab one from this deck of 48 and hide it. Okay, and let's see, spades is cruelty. Oh my. So given that we have cruelty, which hunters do you think should arrive?
I love the dichotomy of like two hunters that are excessively cruel and one that is not.
Palais
So,
might
like,
be a good.
yeah, so like Pallas
Pallas
being in
is
this
definitely
scene and
not
having to
cruel,
witness this.
I mean, Loredana is one I think of as probably cruel. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe thinks of herself
kill
as
the
probably cruel,
defenseless
but like,
old Titan. Um,
Actaeon, we know, is already like a hunter of a creature that might be innocent, and the only emotion they have is anger.
yeah, that's true. Okay. Actaeon has one arrow of Artemis left. Damaris is dead, but the arrow's probably broken.
Yeah.
trampled.
Yeah.
Just makes Actaeon angrier.
And he's still sure that she cheated. Like, and now,
Oh yeah,
clearly, look
And
at
that-
how easily she was felled. And
Yeah.
it was the will of the gods.
Yep.
so I think as far as setting it up from the boar perspective, I'm picturing the cruelty is just driven mad with pain. Originally, this was just to punish King Oneus, but now it is like even his the most common folk in the land are feeling the boar's wrath now, and it isn't like, obviously it's terrifying. There's a skinless boar running around. That's like mentally a little traumatic, but also like their freshly planted fields that are just starting to sprout. It's rooting through it, and like they're seeing that even if it doesn't trample us, it is destroying our harvest and like befouling the well water,
breaking through houses and destroying homes.
like not even directly threatening life, just like know that if you get through this, even if they kill me, like I am making your life horrible for as long as I can, like metaphorically and maybe literally salting the earth. I don't know what boar's blood does to fertile soil.
I think this boar's blood is probably bad.
It's probably not good.
Okay, so the boar is wrecking the fields and destroying the tilled soil.
I saw Actaeon and Loredana sort of gathering to fight, and recognized their ambition and perhaps anger, and sort of felt a need to guard them.
What weapon does Loredana even have that she's like readying against this boar?
I mean, last time she just used her like feet and kicked it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I think she has like a skinning knife almost.
Yeah.
Well, a little late to the party for that one.
Yeah. Well, you can use it to take off other things as well.
Yeah.
And we know Actaeon has a bow.
Yeah.
So Loretina gets 4 dice. So I'm going to roll those.
Oof. Let's see.
I have a pair of ones.
I'll burn my die to swap my 1 with one of those 5s.
Okay.
Let's see.
That makes sense, actually, because I can't guard Hippolyta anymore anyway.
Yeah.
So then I guess it doesn't matter what I put in. Maybe.
I mean, a 6 is probably better anyway.
We're all in. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we're all in.
All right, so I can reveal.
Yeah.
You've done very well for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. So
Yeah, so what is this?
Maybe Palace sees you two running into the fray, and as you do, calls after you to steady your hearts and proceed with kindness, because this boar is already so damaged. And at this point, taking its heart is doing it a service.
All right. I was going to I had my bow out and run in and was taking up a position, and I was going to shoot it in the like in the eye, just to make it mad. But with your calling after me, I changed my my aim and go to shoot it in its side, just above the shoulder.
Do you know what I think would be a really cool scene? Your arrow is the arrow of Artemis, right?
It's true.
Does the arrow of Artemis kill this thing? Because I don't think it would.
No,
I don't think
that's
it would work.
a good point. Oh yeah, it turns aside.
Like Artemis won't let this thing die, and so it just turns aside at the last minute. And I think Loretina also like comes in because she doesn't care what Peleus is saying, and just comes in with rage and frustration and strikes at this thing, and it just bounces off or like hits a bone and goes the knife goes skidding out of her hand and she stumbles backwards. And I think Peleus, with the like actually wanting to do kindness to this thing, is the one that actually gets that blow.
Yeah, maybe the arrow bouncing off, or sorry, the knife bouncing off and the arrow causing the boar to turn. It turns into Peleus's path, and she sort of like stands her ground as it runs at her and like pushes back at it, maybe with a shield, and knocks it back and sort of stops its heart.
Nice.
I love this as calming the heart instead of like actually like ripping it out. That's good.
Stopping it.
It's like be at peace, but it only works to an extent because Artemis refuses.
Yeah,
to
so
not
like
give animation
Pele's
to
is
this?
holding it still and saying you will not move, but it's her will versus Artemis, and so we need to like intervene and somehow end this. Oh, that's so good.
Peleus is acting with kindness. The boar is enraged, in pain. I think. Does this kill the boar? And the last card is somehow going up the hierarchy of the chain of command, sort of to Artemis herself. Or is the boar still active after this?
I guess I'm picturing like a movable object, a movable wall kind of situation until Artemis intervenes.
Yeah, so we need to convince Artemis to like let go and let this happen.
Or otherwise drive Peleus down, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
The boar doesn't die till the final hunt, it looks like. So whatever we do to it now, we're just claiming trophies.
Okay.
So
I'll be the boar this time, I guess.
All right.
And so far.
And the last trophy.
And diamond is a cunning, right?
Yes.
Okay, then this is a cunning scene.
That's not good. We're going for the diamond trophy.
Yeah,
Someone's gonna die.
Someone's gonna die. Great. Well, cunning. We've got a thief and a hunter.
Yep.
How do we take down Artemis with cunning?
Maybe Calliope or Methodios comes in.
They would both be good.
I think Alara is a good one too.
As far as our setup goes, I think we kind of already have it, but the boar is just like pressed against this shield, right? And its eyes are just full of this insane emotion, and it's staring down Peleus and probably blind to anything around it, which would allow a thief or two to sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could play Alara. She doesn't really have much to live for now that Damaris is dead.
Oh.
So is this like a supplicating to Artemis type scene, or how do we
This is
the Lady of the Bow, the arbiter of who hunts and who is prey.
I mean, if it's a cunning scene, I guess you could try and fool her.
That's what I'm wondering, or if it's like convince her that whatever you were trying to do here is done, or maybe Calliope would be good for this then, like talking about the story of your vengeance will now be told in this way or something like that.
I almost wonder if a mentor would be too, because a mentor is already like stood up to gods.
Never against having him in the scene. He's always good.
He's great.
We know somebody's gonna die. Having a mentor be the sacrificial lamb, just like screw you to Artemis. That's good.
But he's also like superpowered. He's got 4 dice.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put in whatever dice you want. You don't have to put in the highest one.
Maybe they sort of maybe with Calliope's help, they sort of summon the gods down to this scene to argue with them, basically.
Oh, that's good. It's like this ring of gods, and Peleus and the boar are in the middle of this ring, and the two of them are like pushing back and forth against each other, and all the other hunters have to like supplicate or convince these
courtroom.
gods to let this happen. Oh God,
Yeah.
that's a good scene.
All right, who is playing which of the hunters? I'd be interested in giving Calliope a try.
Okay.
Okay. You want it to be Alara's?
If she's still in the scene, yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
leaves
I
a
think
mentor.
that I can be a mentor.
Okay.
So I get how many
Ooh,
dice?
2, 1, and 1. A mentor gets 4 dice.
Yeah.
And I
3.
get, oh, I get 4 dice also. All right.
4, 2, 3, 3. We're not doing great here.
I got a 2, 1, and a 1. I definitely got to burn something. So heroism is a reroll. Is that right?
Yeah, so spending a heroism rerolls 1 dice.
And a
Geez,
relationship is a trade.
And a relationship allows you to trade dice with somebody. Oh boy.
let's see.
There's also
Large.
fate, right? But
Yeah, and you can just tempt fate and re-roll everything, but if you roll doubles, then your character dies. And we've got a lot of dice right now.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know.
What
With
is-
a 1, a 1, and a 2, I'm almost tempted. Like,
And so what do I do if I burn a heroism point?
You re-roll 1 dice.
Hmm.
you know what?
Do
We're
that.
talking to the gods. I'm going hubris. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, do it.
Can I burn 2 heroism points?
Oh, 4, 5,
nice.
6.
yeah.
Hey.
Nice.
So we could put our 4s together, or just having even 2 of the 4s.
Well, there's 2.
There's 2 5s.
5s, but then the 6 gets lost. Someone could trade for the 6, I guess.
Yeah. I think.
Well, I wanted to put in the low number because I'm going to die.
Never
You
mind.
want a
Oh.
mentor to die.
I'm going to put in a 4.
I'll put in my 5. That still should be enough.
Unless
All right, so I reveal, right?
Oh,
Yep. So reveal the card. It's a diamond. I love I love this scene of it is all the gods, like all like the 12 Olympians all come down and they're all in a
Zeus
circle
too,
around this
yeah.
thing. And I see Zeus and I'm just like, God dang it.
Right.
You screwed my wife. I'm gonna like I march up to him and I'm like I'm trying to throw my spear at him or something and he just like smites me and I'm just
Yeah. A thunderbolt, and you're just gone.
I think he deserves a little better than just.
Well, he stood up to Zeus.
He did. I think
like-
he shoves Zeus in the chest or something. You know, and
Okay.
Zeus actually steps back for a moment, and everybody else goes, "Oh!"
Like
All the other gods like, "Oh no."
like
And he's got that moment. He's got this one moment with the sun shining on him, and not afraid of Zeus at all, but he should have been.
yeah.
And you know what? This is why that works. Because Calliope is like, you see how Zeus reacts when someone affronts him, unthinking, like a callous beast of the field, but maybe phrased a little more carefully to not get smited herself. Like, Lady Artemis, is this how you want to be remembered, for your wrath instead of for your prowess? And like gives this whole spiel of like all of Artemis's
that's
good
good.
qualities. Look at the and I'm not a good enough storyteller for this part, but like Zeus reacts like, and all I can think of is boars in the field, whereas you are the hunting cat waiting in the tree for the right moment, delicate, perceptive, and patient. What stories do you want to be told about you throughout the land? And kind of gestures to Peleus and the boar
Yeah.
struggling.
So we actually draw another card and we
Okay.
have to resolve the new card.
With the same dice.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
2 5s now, and
Okay.
that succeeds.
think-
So
yeah.
Artemis probably considers these words and then walks up to the confrontation between Pallas and the boar and just sort of places her hand on the boar's side, and then it falls to the ground, dead, I imagine.
So we have one more fight.
Oh, we do. Oh, never mind.
So
Sorry.
we have the final battle.
And it doesn't.
But what leads to that?
Well, Alara is probably sneaking around behind the gods trying to steal some of their stuff.
Yeah. Good job, Alara.
Like maybe Artemis's arrows or Hermes' helmet of invisibility.
What if the boar goes rogue?
I was thinking, like, it's no longer
like it's
animated
no like
by Artemis.
Artemis can't control it anime or something.
Her anger has overflown, and it's just overflowed, and it's out of her control now.
Yeah. And so now we have the gods on our side.
Right? Like the boar has been this pawn, and Artemis is like, okay, you don't have to serve me anymore. And it's like, fuck all of you guys. Look at this shit that has happened to me because I've been a pawn of the gods. I'm a monster. Right. You've made me this.
Yeah. So I will say that we've been going for about an hour. Do we want to take a break before the final hunt, or do we just want to push through?
I'm fine just pushing through.
I'm good.
Yeah,
okay. Just wanted to check, make sure. So the final hunt. During the final hunt, the hunters make a more or less desperate attempt to kill the boar. The boar will always die at the end of the final hunt. However, so will many of the hunters. Each player picks one hunter. The hunters are no longer claiming trophies. If the boar has any trophies left, all of the cards of those suits count as trumps, which doesn't apply. The player that would play the boar sets up the scene as usual. The boar player spreads 3 cards on the table face down. The hunters resolve dice as usual. However, if for any reason a hunter would roll less than 3 dice, they instead roll 3 dice.
Should I be the boar then?
Basically, the boar gets 3 cards, and we only get the 1 roll of dice.
Oh.
And so we have to spend 1 dice per card. 1 dice each per card to try and beat that card.
Is that like sequentially then? Or
yes. So the boar reveals the first card. Each hunter assigns 1 dice and then resolves the card as you would during any other scene. If there are surviving hunters, repeat with the second card, and then repeat with the third card, and then the boar dies.
Got it.
And so this is when those full-on rerolls might end up happening. So who wants to be the boar this time?
I could do the boar.
Okay.
So I draw 3 cards, you said?
Yeah, you draw 3 cards.
Okay.
And there are no trump suits, so that's good.
Okay.
And then each one of us picks a hero to be in this final battle. I think Pele's should get a heroism point from that.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
That definitely counts.
In that case, I guess I feel like she has to be in this because she's already like directly involved.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and I think Calliope for swaying the gods with her words.
Yeah.
Yes.
Worth a heroism. So I'm looking at like Actaeon. We haven't really seen a whole bunch of, so I don't know if that'd be an interesting choice.
Actaeon has Artemis's arrows, right?
Yeah.
And now that the boar is no longer
Artemis.
Artemis.
Yeah, maybe Artemis gives him back the arrows.
Yeah.
So actually,
says,
maybe
be my champion and take out this thing that I've created accidentally and let loose upon the world. I'm sorry. Oops.
Have we gotten to see Cadeus hunting at all?
No, he really hasn't shown up, and I think we'll just let him be kind of a side character that was just like, hey, I'm here, and then I never did anything. I know. Oh well. That's what happens when you have 16 characters and you have to weave them all in. I do like the Acteon being this like God-given champion to intervene.
To clean up her mess.
And a Peleus. And who should our third be? Maybe Calliope.
Yeah, because they have the gods.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so
if you would roll less than 3 dice, you get bumped up to 3 dice. So you will roll at least 3 dice. I think Calliope rolls 4 dice, so you just get the 4.
Now, do I tell you the suit? Does that matter now? Guess there's no
sure. Well, yeah, let's use that to set up each of these, like the 3 stages of us hunting this thing down. Yeah.
All right. The first suit is clubs. It's a chase. It makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay.
The boar is rampaging up and down the mountain, through the city. I think he's
like
running,
dripping the steaming black blood everywhere.
Yeah. And he's just casting people aside, left and right. He's at a full tilt.
We have 2 5s and a 4 if we want to.
So remember that we have to beat 3 cards.
Right.
And so we shouldn't burn everything good on the first card.
Good call.
And we only get to do one of our things still. This whole thing is one scene.
Let me read the rules again. Yes, once per scene.
Okay. So I'll burn a heroism and re-roll one of those lower ones.
Yeah, I think I'll do the same.
Because I don't want to stick any of you guys with one of the lower ones.
Yeah, all of mine are above average, so I'll hang on to what I got.
Right, that worked out okay.
That improved.
Yeah.
So,
So we've got 3 5s. Do we want to throw a 5 into each? One of us throws a 5 into each fight.
We also have 4 4s, so we could do a pair of 4s at one point.
Because face cards are still a problem, I'm guessing.
Face cards, you still need a double, to beat. So if you're going to throw in a 5, I'll throw in one of my 4s.
So you got a 5, 4. And I guess I don't ever have to use my 2 because there's 3 cards. So it probably makes sense to use a 3 now.
Yeah, sure. Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah, that'll get us anything with a face card. That'll be in a face card we're going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
Why would you lose anyway with the face card?
Because we need doubles.
But you guys have multiple 5s and multiple 4s. All right.
Yeah, we didn't want to use, because then if we throw both 5s at something that ends up being a 2, then we're like,
Right.
And then we end up losing to a 6 or something. So that was our thinking at least, but we have no idea what cards you're about to show.
All right. Shall I reveal?
Sure.
It's going to be a face card, isn't it?
Oh, it's a 10.
Good.
All right. So
you can catch up to the boar?
Yeah, we catch up to the boar. What is the scene? I've already forgot who I'm playing.
He's running through the city and trampling houses to smithereens.
I'll say Palace runs in front and holds up her shield to guard the villagers.
Oh yeah, I like that scene. So you're deflecting it away from this crowd of people.
The boar turns away, sort of corners, and who's there to?
I think Acteon is standing at the end of a street with his bow drawn and shoots one, and it grazes across his face and turns it down a dead end alleyway.
All right.
Trapping it. And so what is Calliope?
I'm having trouble figuring out what she would do in this situation. She's really good with talking to the gods, but
get a god to join in.
Oh, that's true. Actually, I think at this point she's worried about the populace. And like, because she knows the shorthand of stories, she's able to say like, remember the parable of Phylacteries, do as he did and you will remain safe in this time. And like that shorthand for saying like, oh yeah, we're supposed to do whatever this thing is, hide in the cellar or something.
Right, right, yes,
And
yeah.
so
hide in the
they're like,
cellar.
we're going to get away from, we're going to the root cellar because the boar wouldn't be able to get us in there.
All right. So then we do away with these dice?
Yep, we get rid of these dice, and then we do the next card.
Okay.
I'll throw my
next-
5 in this time.
Next suit is diamonds. What do diamonds signify?
For diamonds are
For the
cunning.
scene setting? Cunning. Okay.
This
I
is
will
telling itself.
4 in, so we have doubles this time.
I think Calliope probably takes point on the cunning scene. Like, how are we tricking the boar into a situation where we could actually kill it?
So I think maybe Jen's idea then of like getting one of the gods involved in it. Which god would be appropriate?
So then the cunning is the words spoken to the gods to entice them to lend their power.
Yeah. So
Hermes, of course, is very cunning. As is Athena, the wise goddess.
Who has a beef with Artemis? Like, we could play off that. Like, hey, you get to destroy this thing that Artemis
that's
created.
Good.
Apollo, maybe?
Yeah, her
Her
brother.
brother?
That makes sense. Like, yeah. So she's whispering to Apollo's ear, like, her reach always extends her grasps. Look at what your sister has done this time. You need to teach her a lesson.
Yeah, can't let the moon show up the sun.
That's
She's just
good.
a pale reflection of you.
Jeez.
Oh God, did I just convince him to create a horrible beast? You want to see a rampaging animal? I'll give you a rampaging animal.
I'll give you a giant rampaging boar, but it's on fire.
I was just thinking that.
I love that it would like not even be an original thought. Like it's just another boar.
I mean, he could set it on fire.
You could set this boar on fire.
You could set this boar on fire, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So what card do we get?
Oh, okay. Wait. What is Apollo doing? Is he setting the boar on fire?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. The card is Queen of Diamonds.
Okay, so it is a face card, which is thank you for playing the 4 this turn. Jeez. So face cards. To beat a face card, the hunter's dice must include a set, a pair, or better. If not, kill the hunter with the lowest dice. We did that. Queen. The key to the divine turns. You get a glimpse at the machinations of gods. It fades away as if a dream. Ask a hunter how they can feel divine purpose and meddling. Ask any hunter with a 6 how they become cursed. I think this is fairly obvious.
Yeah, the divine's metal.
Apollo
with
just
fire.
shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's the perfect card, right?
I know.
When that happens.
Nice. Okay. So now the boar's on fire. And I think that will eventually be beneficial, but for now, it's just a very angry boar running around on fire. The last suit is spades, cruelty.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we
So
need to.
it's pretty cruel to
finish
the
it.
boar, I have to say, to set him on fire, and probably pretty cruel to any townsfolk caught in its path.
Mhm.
Because now he's just setting houses on fire. There's, the straw and the wood.
Smashing through things.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think this is probably Actaeon's time to shine with this Artemis given bow, and he just it's
especially now that
charging
it's
straight
Apollo's
at him.
boar now. Yeah.
It's charging
Kill fight.
straight at him. He's got the bow drawn and just looses an arrow, and it goes straight down the length of it. If
Okay.
we pass, Well, I mean, so the boar dies at the end of this round, no matter what.
Okay, right.
What
right,
we're checking now is, do I also die?
Yeah.
Or
Does
does
anybody
somebody else
have
also die?
any shenanigans that can still pull with dice? Or has
No,
everybody done their
we're
thing?
done.
No.
So I'll just reveal.
yeah.
It's
Cruel to.
King of Spades.
It's the King of Spades. So the hunter with the lowest dice dies.
That's me.
Oh no, the storyteller.
No, Palace.
Palace.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's even worse.
Well,
Oh, gosh.
in a way that makes poetic sense because she has sent so many warriors off to war.
Yeah.
She might have known.
I think probably what's happened here is she wasn't directly involved in the boar at this point. So maybe the boar running through the streets has set the city on fire. And as her final act, she runs into a building to save a child from the fire and manages to get the child out, but succumbs to the flames right before she can.
Oh wow.
That's so perfect for her.
Yeah. And Actaeon shoots the boar.
Yeah, just straight down the middle. And the boar, like the scene where the boar is running, and then just the legs fall out from under him and it skids and skids and skids and comes to a halt like a foot away from him. And he's just standing there being epic and watching it come and stop right in front of him.
And the creature of Artemis
Nice.
was felled by her own arrows.
As the
That's
flames
cruel
die
bit of
out.
that.
Yeah, that's true. The boar's like, why?
You made me this way.
That's
We're all
right.
but pawns
Yeah.
of the gods.
Yeah.
All right. So each player takes turns delivering a short epilogue for their hunter, and epilogues are 1 or 2 short sentences in which we see them lay claim to 1 or more trophies, witness the fallout of the hunt, or we learn of further tragedies. So I think
I already did that.
everybody who survived should get an epilogue. I
Okay.
think.
Let's see.
So we each had. Oh, I have 3, but everybody else has 2. If we each want to just do the characters that we created, and
Yeah.
give them an epilogue.
So I would say that Calliope has witnessed this whole scene and becomes the storyteller of it. Is the one to sort of record it through oral history and pass on this legend.
I don't know historically what, like, if there were written records as well, but I feel like if she claimed the hide, she could have a written record of it.
That's really cool. Yeah.
It's written on the hide of the boar. Oh, that's so good.
Wow.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Nice.
And then do you want to also do Methodios?
Oh, sure. I can do that too. I think probably Methodios would sort of, as the light of the boar on fire died down and the skies grew darker, would draw a new constellation of probably Actaeon drawing his bow towards this boar.
That's great. I think Actaeon is has never been doing better. Has new silver arrows. I don't remember if Actaeon got one of the trophies. I forget who got that.
I mean, he certainly got the favor of Artemis, which is one of the trophies.
Yeah. Sort of rededicates himself to Artemis. I don't it's funny. I think he's kind of done everything now.
Yeah, like becomes like her disciple or a champion.
Yeah. I think maybe he founds a temple here to Artemis, and sticks around to teach the little kids how to shoot bows and arrow. I think Alara has stolen Hermes' flying slippers and Hades' helm of invisibility, and almost steals a thunderbolt, but like thinks better of it, and just skips out of town before anyone notices she's gone. Like we'll say her goodbyes later when she's not loaded down with stuff. But I think now she becomes an unstoppable thief with a helm of invisibility and flying shoes.
I'm picturing this going too far with an epilogue, but just that she's like, it's not fun anymore. Like, it's so easy that
right.
I can turn invisible. I can fly into their houses. Why
He's
even?
never satisfied now. Yeah.
And she has no partner to share the glories with anymore.
Yeah.
Can't steal the hole in her heart closed. For Aristophanes, I mean, he never showed up to hunt. So like, I feel like I don't know. He was
in the scene at the
rival?
very beginning where he sort of did a poor showing next to Lenara, right?
Right.
Did we mean? Oh, we did mean Lenara. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And
they were sort of equals, I think.
I think like he is tries to buddy up next to her because she did get like she was involved in the hunt and helped get the skin off, and it was just like I'm not sure how she takes to that. Like I don't think that goes well for him. And he just, it's a sad epilogue for him because I'm picturing he's like bumming around Greece being like, I was at that hunt and trying to get some of the reflected glory, and it is just not happening from a man, the far thrower. I think Lasthena, she was there when the tusks were claimed. And I think she kept one and like has fashioned which she thinks at least is a divine weapon to protect her and her family from the predations of the folks like who was it that was I can't remember the character, the one that they killed her uncle.
Oh, Loredana.
Yeah. And like she didn't actually get that revenge, but she feels like she is at least prepared to be proactive if someone comes after her or her family.
I like that. And then Cadeus, always the bridesmaid, never really did anything and
he
goes
was still
on
in camp. You guys didn't tell me you were leaving.
Goes on his way still with this massive inferiority complex.
Right.
Because he didn't do anything. That's hilarious how well that worked out. Lenara, I love the idea that she becomes like Calliope wrote out the text on this hide, and Lenara becomes like the keeper of this as she like brings the two of them go around and bring this story to Greece. I think she hangs up the spear as like it has done its job. It is its work is complete type thing. Loredana definitely has that second tusk because Amintor is dead. But she, I don't think that her boastfulness, her like pride has gone down at all. I think she goes back to Thebes and is still this like heroic figure with this like bone dagger, ivory dagger thing that she has. And so we'll continue to defend Thebes until she eventually faces a foe that's better than her. And that is the end of the game, and it wrapped up pretty much right on time. So I'm happy with that. So thank you anybody who watched on YouTube. I'm going to end the recording now. Thank you all so very much for watching. You can join games like this by going to gauntlet-rpg.com. The Gauntlet is a great little community, and maybe I'll play with you soon. Until then, I'll see you around.